Hi everyone. Now we will read the chapter 2.6 Towards Social Science, Durkheim, Weber and Beyond. There has been a lot of discussions whether social sciences can follow the method of natural sciences. These need separate discussion. Comte, Durkheim and Radcliffe Brown answered yes. Delte, a historian, took the other view. Weber tried to follow the middle path. On different occasions, systems of explanations have been tried, and these have been called grand theories, which could be applied to several inquiries cases. At least that is the claim. Marxism and Parsonian systems belong to the category. Then there are descriptions at an empirical level, facts gathered and put into tables without any explanation. These are not theories per se, but theories can be made through proper analysis. Durkheim's studies of suicide rates and explanation of their variation is the best example of theory formation from the existing data. It will be helpful to understand his method. Firstly, Durkheim clarified the term and located 3 or 4 types of suicides and their nature. For each type, the existing data available in official records were classified in terms of their distributions in various social categories. This classification needed intelligence and brilliance of the author. Each type of suicide rate varied according to the data on social facts, and the comparisons were made. Explanations were given for each type. A theory of studies was formulated in terms of the variation of the degree of integrated solidarity in the society. Let us recall how Max Weber formulated his theories. The key words, the Protestant ethic and capitalism, were defined after going through the literature. Their ideal types were defined. Cases where both were present and not present were identified. Comparisons in the historical settings were attempted, and existing data on the type of education prevalent in each religious group were compared. A conclusion on the coincidence of the rise of capitalism in Protestant dominated region was confirmed. Why this inner relationship holds is examined. How is the explanation of this case related to the theory to the general history of civilization is attempted. Path-breaking studies such as this continue to receive attention among scholars from related subjects as well as the main discipline over a period of time. It happens that certain parts of a theory receive greater attention in subsequent studies. Durkheimian studies on suicide received attention at the hands of psychologists and social psychologists in particular, and they began re-examining the loss of sense of security as a possible explanation besides others. One of the types of suicide was classified as romomic. A group of writers considered this concept as central to the analysis of modern societies. In turn, they began to dealing the concept from that of solidarity, introduced more psychological variables in it, while Merton retained the social component as source, as control. The succeeding social scientists find an alternative relevance of the concept and try to look problems of a different age through it with some modification. Max Weber. The second example refers to Max Weber. His treatment of the Protestant ethic gave rise to the counterpoint at the hands of writers treating the Catholic, Hindu, Shinto, and Confucian faiths, suggesting a sort of negation of negation. Marxist scholars pinpoint on structural factors as being more decisive than the cultural as propounded by Weber. Yet, most of the Asian dialogue of entrepreneurship kept alive the debate with Weber within the cultural frame. Mario Rutten, in the article on the study of entrepreneurship in India, neatly summarizes the position and calls for greater interactions among the two major approaches. 2003 131941. There have been ample discussions on Weber versus Marx and a sort of convergence signifying Marx and Weber as components of each other. Yet other variations of Weber were found in the conceptualization of ethnomethodology and phenomenology, wherein actors' point or of is being given primacy over others. Within Marxism, one comes across increasing emphasis and empirical studies of the subaltern as well as other political forms of dominance. The classical writers who developed ways of looking at social facts, currents, and actions in their own times are being increasingly discovered for their relevance to addressing the problem of the new societies or our contemporary periods. This dynamism constitutes the process of science linking concepts and theories of the classical writers and modern situations. B. Parson and Merton. Among the 12th century writers, Talcott Parson is the most significant of conceptualizing human actions and connecting economy, policy, institutions, and pattern maintenance. This exercise required contribution from economic anthropology, psychology, and sociology, and their integration into a general theory of action. As Parson grew mature, he examined economy, polity, for family and professions, especially medicine, as subsystems, and in cooperation with colleagues, valued colleagues, looked into the specifics of the American society. In discussing writers of significance spread over a lifetime with some contribution appearing posthumously, a question is raised about the continuity of the academic effort involved. Critics at times find that the young author was different from the mature one, the younger being more general and the mature being more specific. This is what one gets by looking at Marx, with 1848 serving as the dividing line more or less. The philosophical manuscript and the Communist Manifesto belong to that period, the capital to the next. A similar exercise on Parson suggests that the publication of Towards a General Theory of Action 1936 and to an extent Social System mark the first phase. Theories of society. Thereafter specifics gained currency and the treatment got manifestly grounded in the empirical situation of American society. We have hinted at the influence Parson had on Indian scholarship in a different unit. Some critics comment upon Parson as if he was guilty of using too many concepts to state his position and synthesize the effect. Their use earned him more critics than supporters. Yet from among the galaxy of his students and co-workers, we get more and more specific studies of various aspects of society. Merton was among the most serious of the students who attempted a fresh combination of empirical studies and grand theory, taking some aspects selectively at a time. Harry M. John passed on the gains of the entire approach in a textbook entitled Sociology, which get translated in Hindi by Yogesh Adal, who had spent a semester with Merton. Other writers studies the family, religion, economy, and polity. Merton is important for having coined the phase theories of the middle range, middle between the grand theory and the pure description. He thought at that level theory had a heuristic purpose, that is, acting as a gate for further research, including field studies. Accordingly, he systematized a classical explanation for use as tools of research of modern societies and to an extent modified old concepts, giving them a new relevance and vibrancy. He did this for function by pinpointing three categories: function, dysfunction, and non function, and to look for a balance of consequences of the three. He devised a protocol of for observation that would permit gathering of information with a potential for being understood in the functional perspective. At the conceptual level, he had a fresh look at the analysis, a comparison between the sociology of knowledge, and at the level of nature, cosmopolitan, and local press. He clarified social aspects of anomy, the conflict between the accepted goals of a society and the use of rather open means for achieving the same. And then the specification of the theory of the role set and the reference group as examples of middle range theory developed at different stages of the inquiry. Merton's others contribution lay in attempting some questions set by the financing agencies and using the opportunity for developing concepts that would acquire explanatory power in the broad frameworks of social theory and a social structure. In the preface to a volume and social problems, he distinguished between social problems and sociological problems, a point well taken by M.S. Gore in most of his presentations and deliberations in the Indian setting. Conceptualizing for studying special features of the Indian society has been attempted by M.N. Srinivas through Sanskritization and dominant caste. Adrian C. Mayer found it useful to study municipal elections in Devas town of Madhya Pradesh through the operation of quasi group, half formed group for a specific situation in the nature of action sets. There is an increasing trend in sociology in India for showing the limits within which some of the concepts made popular in the West was help us grasp the nature of social processes operating in India. Little community and peasant society are some of the examples, and others can be added. 2.7 Conclusion. Words and concepts are products of mind, and when their meaning is shared, communication of ideas takes place in daily life as well as in academic circles. The development of science made the meaning more and more specific as also grammar and logic. Natural sciences connect concepts with experiments, and conclusions affect the interconnections among various concepts and their combinations. Social science keeps on growing and doubling itself faster than social sciences or humanities. History of ideas is more significant for the later as old formations and theories are discovered to provide insight into current problems. Yet, refinement keeping on happening. This has been illustrated chiefly with respect to the methods and approaches used by Durkheim and Weber, and the nature of the middle range theories initiated by Matron over the grand theories of Parson. In the body of the unit, the manner in which words like structure and functions have developed have been briefly touched upon. Students are advised to study the related materials supplied in specific unit. Matron also developed protocols for observation and paradigms for studying questions in a theoretical or structural perspective. The next session deals with paradigm and theories. 2.8 Further reading. Lefebvre, Henry, 1968, The Sociology of New York, Vintage. Latmel LM, 1971, The Legacy of Max Weber, Berkeley, California, Glendorsary Press. References: Durkheim, Emile, Suicide, translated J. Spaulding and G. Simpson, Lanark 3, The Free Press, 1951. originally in French in 1870. Merton, R.K., 1968, Social Theory and Social Structure in New Delhi, Emile Publication Company. Parson, Thalkot, 1965, Theories of Society, Foundation of Modern Sociology Theory, complete volume 1, next to New York, the Free Press. Veena Das edition 2003, the Oxford Indian Companion to Sociology and Social Anthropology. So we'll attach the study of entrepreneurship in India by Mario Rutten. Webb Max 1930, Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, translated by Talcott Parson, London, Allen and Unwin, original in German, 1920-21. So this is the some references. Thank you very much. We will read Unit 3 in the next session.